What's up, YouTube? This is Kirito HD Gaming coming at you with a real quick video. This isn't gonna have any gameplay, sadly. This is gonna be pure just commentary. I need to I need to get something off my chest about this game real quick. And it's not just the game; it's more so the players. So I am sick and tired of everyone comparing this game with Steam numbers. Steam is a small counterpart when it comes to getting reliable data of player base. And I'm also going to put this out there. With how many games that you can get for free on Steam or literally less than $10, of course this game isn't going to be the hottest. But out of all the free-to-play games on console, I think this game is up there in the player count. Now, is it going to be Fortnite numbers? No. But I'm going to be honest, like, people think this game is dying, but every time I get into Avalon, I don't see it dying. Now, I will say this. I can't go based off Avalon. I have to go based off more of the matchmaking premise. I didn't even say that correctly. But, you gotta go based off the matchmaking stuff and how long it takes to find stuff. Well, one, to find a game in a random dungeon doesn't take long because everybody knows to just throw on that what is it called? Forgot what they call it. Let's go find out what the name of it is before we actually get to naming things and not knowing the name for it. Let's see. Probably could have just done it from the map, but let's see real quick. Like, right here. Other infiltration support. Like everybody knows this option right here, and it's a very good option. It gets you in the games a whole lot quicker. I mean, really quicker. And dungeons are more playable now due to the fact that instead of having 2 rewards at the end of each mission with the pattern, um, now you have 6, and that is due to the fact that they added patterns that were at outpost farming. Now, I will say this, I was never a big fan of the fact that they killed the outpost farm because that made the game a little more grindy, and I think the biggest thing that this game got away from that I was not a big fan was grinding. I think a lot of people complain and cry too much about the grind in this game. It's a free to play game, and I will be honest, I feel like the only money that this game makes now is cosmetics, and also it's um cosmetics for one, and then battle pass. Other than that, I don't think this game really makes money off people buying Descendants anymore. Maybe like you got your hardcore fans that play this game a lot. I personally earn every new Descendant. I don't buy them. I did buy 2 of the bundles of the Descendants, yes. And both bundles that I bought was to just get the other bonuses out of it. And then also, the Descendant came with it, and I didn't mind that. It was more to get more fast tracked on like Descendant slots and stuff. Yeah, I could have bought the Descendant slots separately for 50, but buying a bundle that's like $15 or less to get a new Descendant, and it gave me XP for the Descendant stuff and a Descendant slot and all that. And I think it might have gave something else, I can't remember. And then with all the other, and I wouldn't be surprised, the other thing that sells are the like support things, which I think that's what they're called, is support bundles. Wrong button. If I'm correct, yeah, support. I think a lot of these supports get a lot of like profit for people to buy. So, um, but the only downside about this is yes, they're making money from this too. But you know how many people that probably buy this and then just get their Descendant done in like a day or two, and then just quit the game for like 2 months until new content comes? Like a lot of people probably do that. And I feel like what I find funny is I'm gonna say one thing that's probably gonna piss off a lot of people out there, but I don't want to hear another damn word from a fucking content creator or even random people saying this game is repetitive, it has too much of a power creep, and this and that. I will agree with one thing: the power creep. I wish the Descendants were more balanced and it was more challenging. That I agree with. But the whole other situation stuff, I don't want to ever hear it again. Fortnite is the most fucking repetitive game I have ever played in my life. It got so bad, in my opinion, with Fortnite that they had to literally make 50 million other games basically inside one game. Being sarcastic, but everyone knows what I'm talking about. Don't even get me started on Marvel Rivals. It's basically a better version of Overwatch. Like a 10 times better version of Overwatch. And you're telling me that game's not repetitive? Look at Call of Duty. You're telling me that game's not repetitive? I mean, shit, all you do is camel grind and play the same damn game mode. Like, I don't want to hear all this stuff about repetitive crap. Because every video game at the end of the damn day is repetitive. Every game. The only thing in video games, most of the time, that is not going to be repetitive but have repetitive features are probably single player games. Because you get a change normally in a single player game, depending on the single player game you play, you have chapters. And each chapter is going to bring something new to you. The only downside is, depending on the kind of genre of game you're playing, if it's a shooter or a horror or whatever, it's going to have a it's going to have a it's going to be repetitive at some area. Like for instance, Resident Evil, you're more than likely just the repetitive part is killing zombies or monsters or whatever the case is. But each chapter brings you something new, a different area and an environment. That's really only single player games. Well, you also got looter shooters like the First Descendant, Division 2, Destiny. They bring you new mapping and new areas. But those areas can get really repetitive quickly, especially if they put too many rewards behind them. Well, that's normally the norm because you want people to play that new content. The problem with people is they got so hooked on this Fortnite, and then you got Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, all these free to play games where everything is basically free besides skins and battle passes. And it's a system of a basically battle royale or hero type shooter. And I find it funny to this day how no one really wants to talk about how people put thousands and thousands, up to 10 to 20,000 hours into games like that, but can't even play the First Descendant because they suck at some type of thing in the game, but they blame the game being repetitive instead. You know how many people quit playing the First Descendant because they suck instead of actually because the game is repetitive? A bunch. I knew a few. They were like, man, there ain't nothing to do. This shit's hard. Blah, blah, blah. It's repetitive. I don't want to have to fight the same boss repeatedly. Like, it just kept going and going and going. And I don't even have friends that play the game really anymore. I have one friend that gets on basically every, weekend or every other weekend. And we hang out and chill and play it for a little bit. But the thing is I feel like my friends that I met on along the way, the fact that they only played this game for the first season, which was season 0, and then quit in season 1 because the developers had a bad launch with season 1. And like the fact that we're still judging a game based off season one and not given the props of what you've been given in season two and then season two, episode two. Like this game is literally building quickly, in my opinion. The problem with people is it's not building quickly enough because of the fact that everybody wants to fucking be the best. Even though there's not a damn leaderboard in this game for literally 99% of the stuff in this game. The only thing that has a leaderboard is literally the Void Erosion Purge. That is the only thing that has a leaderboard. And it gets reset, I think, every 30 days. So it's like, what's the point of trying to be the best time runner if it even resets anyways? Like, I don't understand. I can't wait until they add a future where you can see people's builds, because then that would help me decide on why people end up dying so quickly or why people end up being terrible. I can't wait until a future like that is added. Just like for once, I can't wait until they add a party finder, because the matchmaking for missions and everything, it's not that it's not fun, but it's the fact that you can't make friends, in my opinion, with the matchmaking system we have. Plus, no one is ever in game chat. But I will say this though, when they do add a party finding system, you can hopefully find a party or a group that's farming certain items or certain things, and it would actually be fun, because hopefully maybe you actually be getting friends out of it or something. This game is very fun when you have a group to play with, even one person. It gets very boring when you play by yourself, like most games do, unless it's a single player game. That's just common sense. But like, this game is repetitive like any other game out there. I'm tired of hearing that though. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing people saying repetitive. And then you have the other thing about power creep and needs balancing. Male descendants are weak as hell. Male descendants are not weak. Especially after this recent buff. Ajax, you can make an Ajax build and literally do a 400% dungeon by yourself. Literally. Not saying that's the hardest content, but you could probably do it and get away within the Void Erosion Purge. I don't know. I would never run Ajax in that. I run certain Descendants in the Void Erosion Purge because that actually has a skill gap, in my opinion, due to the fact that the level of the monsters are way higher, but the monsters are way bullet spongier too. So you want to run skills that are good and weaponry that is good. And I will be honest, out of all the buffs that happened, I wasn't a big fan of the buff for Bunny. But then when that's because I just heard she got buffed. I didn't read into it. Now the fact that her buff was making her red modules stronger, other than the one that everybody uses, and then also they made her one ability and four ability stronger. They didn't touch her ring of death is what I call it. They didn't touch that ability, which I actually am happy about. I think Bunny's maybe actually at a very good area now. I now Is she too strong in some scenarios? I don't think you're ever gonna fix a scenario of her spawn killing basically enemies that just spawn in because of how much range you could put on her build. I will say the only nerf that would actually even be equivalent to a bunny nerf is taking range away from her. Other than that, the cooldowns, the duration, they're all in good scenarios in my opinion. I think the range is what makes her OP. Range and speed. But the speed doesn't matter if you're not killing enemies, though. So, but with how powerful you can make Bunny with that speed, and with the fact that you have range of literally 20 plus meters, it it can get very OP. But that is a topic I'm not going to talk about, because the only thing I think that needs to happen to Bunny is, like I said, the spawn killing and killing behind walls. I will say this: the reason why I say killing behind walls and stuff and everything is also because of the fact that Aeneas got that nerf. Now, I will say this though: at least Bunny's killing through walls is not as bad as Aeneas was. Aeneas, you literally sat behind the wall protected while you were shooting her ability through the wall with lock-on targeting. While with Bunny, you're just killing them because you're running around and they are just behind an object and your ring of electricity just hits them. There's a big difference now. Now, I wouldn't care if they even touch Bunny with that, because it's not like Aeneas. Aeneas, you purposely have people sitting behind walls just wiping content because they didn't build their build good enough to like run around, jump around. They were squishy. Um, just like I say to this day, I think content creators need to stop doing build videos, because I'm gonna be real. There's some content creators out there that already gave up on this game or come back very, very small amount of time and play. Basically, maybe the first couple of weeks of a new season or a week to 2 weeks of a new update. And that's not a content creator for a game anymore, in my opinion. I feel like the content creation of builds need to stop, because I think that's what's really getting a lot of players frustrated, because people try to correlate that build they're copying and they end up saying, well, I'm not getting the numbers this guy is getting, or I'm not wiping content as quick as this person is getting, because of the fact that you're not copying the build 100%, because you haven't put the time and effort in it. You have literally RK tuning, right? You got the RK tuning, RK tuning. After RK tuning, you have obviously all the modules you can throw on your build. You have the reactor, and you have so many set components that can give you stuff. And then also you have to realize what you're rocking for your substats for everything. You have to be rocking substats for the reactor to help the build. You have to be also rocking substats to help you have survivability and MP recovery on your external components. You have to have all this stuff. It's not just copy modules. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. And I will say this: I do like content creators that show builds, but don't show the entire build. Because you could show the build for the Descendant all you want, for the Descendant modules. But if you're not showing the reactor, the external components, and maybe if you need a weapon of choice and that weapons of choice mods, you're not going to get the same outcome. And I'm actually glad, because I don't think people need to be a walking teacher and giving out free teachings on how to play this game. That's the problem, though. People literally want even free teaching and not even learning to play the game themselves. This game is not that hard to learn. Matter of fact, I'm going to be honest with you. I think out of all looter shooters that I have tried, and Warframe is the only one I have not tried yet. I've tried Destiny. Didn't play much of it, but I think I played a good amount of it to know how it works. I've played Division 2 and I played the First Descendant. There are other looter shooters probably out there, but obviously I'm naming the big ones that are famous. And I will say this. I feel like the First Descendant is probably the easiest to learn. It really isn't that hard. And people apparently compare this game a lot with Warframe. So if this game is compared a lot to Warframe, I would assume Warframe might not be as easy because it's been around for a decade or longer. So it's not as easy because there's a lot more content and probably a lot more complexity systems involved now. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens with the First Descendant because you have archive tuning. Now, it's not complex, but I will say this with the way that archive tuning is set, you have enhanced multi-hit, you have enhanced firearm, enhanced skill cooldown, enhanced skill power, enhanced max HP, and then mitigated incoming damage. The only thing in here that is not actually in here, I'm gonna be honest. The only thing in here that is not in here is something to do with enhanced MP. They do have MP though, MP stuff, but they do not have a gold one. They do not have a gold MP one. Other than that, they basically have everything else. Now they don't have a gold weak point. They have a gold firearm attack, but they have a bunch of weak point options though. So, but I really think this game is actually in a good area. I'm sick and tired of people saying it's not because of some of the dumbest crap ever. I just got done watching a video and guy in the comments literally said, I gave up on season 2 when they decided to put new content behind keys where you had to complete the void vessel. Yo, you got 6 keys. 6 for completing the mission. And you only need 1 to open the box, and then the 5 can be used throughout the other areas to open the stuff up. And what's even funnier is the stuff that you needed to make the Descendants were actually behind the free boxes that didn't need a key. I forgot what boxes they were called. And what's even worse about this is all of Christmas they were giving out keys and left to the point where I have 73 still. And then all the events since then have allowed you to buy keys. So this whole key stuff is dumb. You might just be bad at the game. Because they even have a petty system for the everything you earn. Literally everything you earn inside of the void vessel. So Aeneas, the 2 dogs, and also Keelan. All of those can be earned through the petty system. Well, what do you know? Meaning you have what? With the petty system, to just get like, let's say, just to get Aeneas, you might have to run a total of the mission, I would say, I would say on a luck end, 10 times at most. On a luck end. On a high end, I would say maybe almost 50 if you have to actually max out the percentile for the petty system. It also depends on how, if you actually look through both the options, because they have 2 options for the dog and 2 options for the Descendant. If you're looking for the Descendant, make sure the piece that you're trying to get, you're trying to get the highest percentage. So look at both of them to realize what you're looking at and see which percent drops more for the piece that you're looking for that's on your petty system. Because that piece, I think the percentage of that piece out of that box at the end, that percent goes to your petty system. So if you open a box of a piece of only having like a 3%, well, it's only going to give you a 3% in the petty system. Because I have varieties of sometimes when I complete the mission, I got like 15%. or 20%, I think, on the petty system. And then sometimes I've gotten like 6 or 3 because I didn't look or pay attention myself, or whatever the lowest percentiles are. So I mean, you gotta like look at things. The game is not complex. You just gotta read and look. Well, I guess a lot of people to this day still don't know how to read and look, or they just don't feel like it because they're lazy. Because that's literally how you do things in this game. Like every looter shooter, you read and look. That's how builds are done. Another thing I've also noticed is people don't know how your skill power is uh, your skill power is, basically added up and everything. A lot of people like to go in and be like, well, why is people running focus on electric and focus on fusion and not running literally what is it? Let's see. What is the name again? Not running electric specialist or fusion specialist because these give out more power. Well, that's true, they give out more power, but these give down cooldowns. That's why a lot of people would rather wear these, or I say wear, but equip these because of the fact that it has cooldown on it. Well, let's get into the fact that why do people use MP conversion when you lose MP? Well, a lot of the times is because you get a 36.5% skill cooldown, which is monstrous, especially if you add nibble fingers to the build. And that's why your substat of max MP right here is what you want on your sensor. You literally want MP. I am gonna be dead serious. You do not need consumer drop rate. If you're looking for consumer drop rate, the only time you need consumer drop rate, in my opinion, I think it's called consumer drop rate, right? No, not consumer. Consumable. My bad. Damn, I'm stupid. Consumable drop rate. I meant. I don't know why I kept saying consumer. That I feel stupid. Consumable drop rate. The only time you want to that's basically anything out of the consumable areas, other than like XP stuff and everything like that. Consumable drop rate will help you get the ability to possibly get maybe it becoming easier to get. I don't know. I've never tested this. I don't think this actually helps out with it. But consumable, I highly doubt it helps you get these. I don't think they're gonna help you get the modules for your weaponry if a mission drops these. I don't think it's gonna help you in that category. Now I will say it does help you get stuff. I can't even show you because I haven't played for a while to see if they still drop it. Do they? Or do they not even show you? They might not even show you actually. To be honest, I don't think they even show you. Well, you had these things where one gave you 1,000,000 gold and the other one gave you 100,000 gold. I forgot what they called, but they dropped in the special operations. That's the only time I would ever use a consumable drop rate is over here in the special operations to get those. Now I also used it for other things too, to test things, but I don't know if it ever actually did anything for me because I earned all my stuff during the hard days of the First Descendant. Basically what I mean by that is everybody on my descendant list besides Keelan, Aeneas, Serena, and Ultimate Freyna, Haley were earned the hard way. Same for Ultimate Sharon. Everything besides those characters I named off, everybody was earned hard. Where it took hours and hours on grinding. It took me, I think, 400 to 500 hours to have every single descendant crafted slash leveled up to level 40. That was out during that time period, besides the ones I called off that I did not have to earn the hard way. Now with that, I did the same thing with the weapons too. Besides the newer weapons, the weapons that were already in the game, I literally fast tracked them all like that too. I said fast track, but I meant the hard way. It took forever to get a lot of things. Like I said, it took me 400 to 500 hours, I think, to get everything done. That's also leveling everything up. Now I had majority of the weapons. I had all the ultimate descendants, not every single descendant, but I had all the ultimate descendants and majority of the ultimate weapons that were good done within 200 hours flat. Everything up to the 400 to the 500 mark, that is like maxing out every weapon with the four unique ability slots. That's maxing out every purple weapon to level 40. You know, maxing my mastery rank up as much as possible. This is the only weapon, and then when Blair comes out on the 17th, are the only two items that I have not leveled up yet. And I haven't leveled up the unique abilities of all the newer weapons either. The last new weapon that I have fully maxed out is the Peacemaker. I'm about to have this one done. I'm just waiting for all the crafting to get done, because all I got left for this weapon right here is to craft the weapon 2 more times, and then I'm done. Other than that, the new weapons that recently came out, I got to get done. But literally, I kid you not, there is no complaining in this game, in my opinion. The repetitive doesn't kill my vibe. What kills my vibe though sometimes is everything being too easy sometimes. But if I want a challenge, I just I'll just hit up the Void Erosion Purge. But as you can see, I haven't really played. I played majority of it. I still gotta get 6 more done. Gotta get 24 all the way to 30 done. Well, the problem is, um, I haven't gone in and actually wanted to do anything yet because of the fact that I'm still at a point where I haven't found just like with how the reward system is for every new event. I'm not a big fan of them giving out stuff that should be done the hard way. Like for instance, as I'm going to the research center right now, I'm gonna show you something real quick. Right here, if you come look at this, they're giving out these things right here. You can earn up to 20, right? Open 20. You can get 20. Oh, no, that's how much I earn. Oh, never mind. I take that back. You can get 5 and you spend 10. My bad. I don't know why I was looking at that. I meant to say you get 5 and they're 10 apiece. Well, if you get 5, that's 5 of each of these, right? Well, guess what? If they keep doing that with events, there's going to be people that never touch the Void Erosion Purge. And just doing the lower tier Void Erosion Purge stuff, I mean, I've been able to literally get the Enduring Legacy in a good area with damage. Being able to get the Thunder Cage in a very good area with damage. I've done it with the shotgun for the Smithereens. I've even done it with the one weapon I love to use in the Void Erosion. Not a Void, well, I use it in a Void Erosion Purge, but I love using it in the Void Vessel, which is the Voltia. This Voltia is literally a monster. If you get cores on it. I threw a core system on the Greg's First Fate, and that's all really because of the fact that the fire rate mods literally make the Great Reverse Fate a spam of mortars, basically. And I still can put it on 2 other weapons. I just haven't done it yet because I don't know what 2 weapons I want to do yet. But like I'm saying, I played from 1 to 24, and I played 1 through 10 a couple of times to help people out.
인류는 너무나 나약해. 그래서 우리가 꼭 필요하지.
So I have one Frost Watcher here being made, and I just made 3 pieces to make another Frost Watcher. So I don't even have to make any more pieces with the Frost Watcher. That's good. I'm good on that. Now I just wait until the Frost Watcher is done. Then I can make the last wood. Yeah, I'm done with that. And there's always something to do in this game. People just don't want to have to play the same content to level up their characters and stuff when they're doing builds and all that. But you don't have to. Like, look, you have the Void Erosion Purge. If you want, if you get on and play this game for like 2 hours, right? Do like 5 levels of this. Doesn't take long. Do like 5 levels of the Void Erosion Purge. You can even do less. Run a couple of the Sigma sectors. Run the 400% like 3 or 4 times. Whoopsie. Run the why do I keep doing that? Run the where is it? Run the Disrupt Invasion to get your Haley pieces if you haven't got her yet, or just to get the Haley pieces in general so you can sell to the ETA vendor. But you also get gold out of this, a lot of gold. So it's like you can do that. There's so much to do. And if you don't have everything in the game yet, which a lot of people are probably in that scenario, you literally get main rewards that pop up right here like this. You haven't earned something, go there and earn it. And then if it's not popping up as a main reward and it's like a secondary reward or something like that, and it doesn't show on the mission, then you go to module, or you go to external components, or you go to like the material stuff to see where these drop at, and it will tell you. I don't understand the knowledge of this game is bad in people's eyes. I really don't. I think this game is in a perfect spot. I think it's gonna become better in season 3. But people are dogging on this game too because they're finally dropping. They think, a lot of people think that this game is what is it called? They're just bait and switching people. Aeneas came out, they nerfed Aeneas, and everyone was like, I want a refund because you made Aeneas so good, now you nerfed her. And then bam, which you guys can go watch my other video that probably just recently uploaded. It has gameplay and it also has ranting in it a little bit too. But it has gameplay with Aeneas on a 400% by myself. And that is literally past, it's, it's post nerf. It's after the nerf hit. I got her literally her fourth ability that got hit so hard with cooldown, 90 seconds, mind the fact, back down to 11 seconds. And then if you put a certain external components on, you can drop it down to 9 seconds flat, I think it was. Like, bro, 9 seconds flat, and you get 2 of those things. So think about it real quick. You use one. By the time you use your second one, you have another one already, come back to you. So it's perfect. The one ability can still be spammed. And what's even funnier, they buffed. They nerfed the 1 and the 4, but they buffed the 2 ability. So they buffed it. Buffed her too. But people don't look at the buff. They only want to look at the nerf. Because they don't want cheese. They want cheese. They want to get through everything cheesy style. They don't want no challenge. That is the only thing wrong with this game. Is challenge. Ain't nothing challenging. I'm gonna point this out before I end this video. We're at 39 minutes, 40 minutes now. before I end this video, because I can make numerous of these videos whenever I want when I feel like talking, but I'm gonna be honest. Before I end this video, one thing I will say: they nerfed the Neas, right? Right? Okay, let's look at the nerfs that they have done to content before we cry and complain about nerfing Aeneas. Look, I'm gonna make a separate video that's actually only 2 minutes long for anyone that doesn't want to watch a full video explaining this crap. Look, if I'm correct, on hard difficulty, the Pyromaniac I think got nerfed at one point. I think. The Obstructor got nerfed because you can solo it now. You should not be able to solo this Obstructor. I think that boss should have never been soloable. I still agree with it to this day. Frostwalker got nerfed to oblivion because people couldn't follow a goddamn mechanic. Which I understand in a way. The mechanic I can understand because you could have like two people trying to pick up the stuff, which I think is because no one is in game chat and everyone wants to type instead of getting in a game chat. And then a lot of people got carried through the bosses. And when you get into the hard bosses and you weren't able to solo them, it was hard. But they didn't just nerf like multiple things. They nerfed multiple things about Frostwalker, which I thought was stupid. They like the Frostwalker in its immune state is basically stationary now, so you could just shoot the little things to get it out of the immune phase. If you had good aim, you had good time memory of when the wiping happened. You had someone that picked up the orbs and you hit weak points. Man, Frostwalker was not that hard. I beat it multiple times, multiple times when it was hard. Now it's a cakewalk. I can go probably. I haven't done it, but I can probably go grab my Lepic and just nuke it right now. This one's a fucking joke. Motion Fortress, biggest joke ever. The only thing about Motion Fortress is it's time consumable. Meaning me, I haven't built any specific build to one tap Motion Fortress. I'm assuming you can one tap Motion Fortress. But when I play Viessa or Haley, I go through at least 1 to 2 phases. And that's normally I only go through one phase, but every once in a while for Viessa specifically, sometimes I get terrible luck and I don't crit, and when I don't crit, the boss ends up with a sliver of health and I get set on the second wave, which happens sometimes, but normally I basically take all normally with the Motion Fortress solo I take out all of the white bar, which is the armor, and then basically most of the like a good half to sometimes a little less than half of the HP. So either it gets down to the half bar normally, somewhere between the half and the 3/4 mark. In Motion Fortress, they made the whole pillar stuff way easier now. I feel like they should have made Motion Fortress stay as you can't do it solo, but they I think should have stuck with how the pillars are now. I think the way the pillar system was beforehand, it's not that it was hard, it was the fact that, I kid you not, by the time you got to the last pillar and you were about to activate it, one of the other pillars went offline half of the time due to the fact that it normally was on the fact that the team was slow, or the team was, or there If you get down to one or two pillars left, you have four people. Well, two people could be shooting the fireballs coming out and stopping them from destroying the pillars. Well, a lot of people didn't do that, sadly. Or a lot of people's weaponry wasn't good enough to destroy them. One of the two. Gluttony, I actually personally have a grudge against Gluttony. And that's just due to the fact that it's not I can't kill it. It's the fact that I, out of all the mechanics added in this game, I fucking despise. I will say this: Valby is the number thing. It's the number one thing you gotta use, in my opinion, for Gluttony. Is it? It's not hard to kill Gluttony and get it out of the immune phase with guns. It's annoying though. That I will say. It's just annoying. I don't know if they nerfed anything really with Gluttony, but the fact that you could do them solo is nerfs to me. Because, well, they, from solo, 2 player, and 3 player, the boss is always weaker than if you played with 4 players. And I don't know if they nerfed anything else with them. I know the Motion Fortress, the Pillar got reworked. The Frostwalker had multiple nerfs. The Obstructor, I think, didn't have like a specific nerf. I can't recall if it did or not. It might have. But it definitely got because like soloed, and it's literally a piece of cake. I don't know. I don't remember if Pyromaniac got. I swear I heard Pyromaniac got a nerf, but I don't know if it's true or not. I really don't. I swore I seen it in the patch note, but I don't recall 100%. But literally, like I'm telling you honestly, all the bosses are easy now, and the only hard bosses, in my opinion, were Deathstalker's not even hard, man. It isn't. People are just meaning at this point if they think that boss is hard. People don't know how to make builds. Gluttony was hard in my opinion. Um, and I will stick to that. Is it still hard to this day? It's so-so. I just hate the mechanic. It's just one of those things I hate personally. Motion Fortress I think wasn't really hard. You just got people that didn't know how to do the mechanic. Same thing for the Fortress. Wasn't hard, but people don't know how to do the mechanic. So I mean, they weren't ever really hard. They took time though. I still find it funny to this day, Obstructor. People, when Obstructor went into the immune phase, I've ran into so many people that didn't even know you had to shoot the balls, which I actually found hilarious. But like all this got nerfed. They nerfed the. Let me see. It's at 48 now. Let me hurry up. They nerfed the disrupt invasions, right? Slash buffed them by giving you more Haley stuff, right? They nerfed all the void fusion reactor bosses, or at least majority of them. That the bosses are literally easy as hell to kill now. When they actually, some of them used to be harder than fighting a random, just fighting a Colossus. Go figure. Well, I'm being sarcastic on that, just so everyone knows. They also made it to where the polymer void shard costs. They made it to where it's 45, right? But like if you need to go earn some, you automatically earn 45. Back then it wasn't like that, so you only have to run the void mission. So they made this stuff easier again there. Um, they also made the outpost utterly useless. It's every 30 seconds now, but it's utterly useless to do when you can get the pattern out of the missions. Now, the only thing you would do the outpost farming for is the other rewards that you can get. That's it. And then they also changed up all the main missions. Mind the fact, the main missions were kind of similar. Like, I don't know how to explain this one, but like, the missions used to have things where you had to interact with stuff and stand in a circle And then while the circle was going, while the time, the like little bar was building up, you had to stand in the circle. You got out of the circle, it stopped. Well, they don't have that anymore in the missions. I think they have it on normal difficulty, but they took all that away in hard difficulty, if I'm correct. It's been a while since I ran all the missions again to find that out. But it's like that to me is a nerf. If you can't stand in a circle and fight the enemies, and you got to rely constantly always on moving, then your build's not built to survive. I'm just saying. They also made the game easy by literally buffing the hell out of the amount of XP you get. So it's like, I'm going to be honest, the buffs to the nerfs, something's not adding up. There's been way too many buffs compared to one Descendant nerf. My opinion, there needs to be more. Look, Aeneas got it. I would also keep looking at her to see if there's anything else they could do to her, theoretically, without basically killing her off. That is what I would do. Bunny, I brought up earlier, and then Freyna. I'm pretty sure you can do something with Bunny's range so she doesn't get a maximum. I think it's 27 meters it can go up to, and I'm at 20 right now, or 21. No, 21 I think, 21 meters. And I'm not even using the red module where instead of killing all the enemies around you, it only targets 3 monsters. High voltage. High voltage also increases her range and everything too. But I feel like the fact that I got up to 21 meters without having to use high voltage, that's just big in general in my opinion. I think they should do something with the range with her. And then I think either range or something to do with their duration and cooldown. One of the two. But I think ranges would be easier to mess with than the cooldown and stuff, and the cooldown and the duration, because that obviously, look at Aeneas, it pissed a lot of people off with just the cooldown alone. People weren't even that pissed off about the damage; it was more the cooldown. So it tells you that people love spamming. Um, and then Freyna, I think the problem with Freyna is contagion and every type of content but bossing is literally OP. Because you literally hit somebody somewhere and it just spreads. Like here, before we call it, I'm going to show you real quick something with her. Look. So, with her, contingency, right? You see this, right? Well, look. Let's look at her one ability first. When you kill somebody, right? When you kill somebody, right? Contagion range when killed 17.2 meters instead of 6. That means when I kill somebody, the contagion of that spreads 17 meters away. Well, if I keep killing people in all different areas, I basically wipe the whole map off in the mission. Contagion is way too overpowered. I think if they rework Contagion, she would become perfectly fine. That's just me. Because you don't even have to rely on cooldown with her if you have Contagion. You really don't. Like, yeah, I'm rocking Nibble Fingers. I could theoretically take Nibble Fingers off, right? I could literally take Nibble Fingers off, right? I can take it off and put this. Venom. To get more power. I can literally take Nibble Fingers off and do that. And the cooldown, I might not be able to knock every room out now like I normally would, but I can use her one ability in one room, and then when we get to the next room, I can use her 3 ability. Perfect. Bam. Good to go. That is still wiping things. As long as I hit it in the right area and I don't miss my target or put it in a bad area, I'm wiping stuff. It's clear as day. But, like I said, people nowadays want everything given to them for free or easily. People don't want to grind. People don't want to have to spend money. And it's like, that's not how life works. But because it's a hobby for people, they think that's how it should work. You know, people that make these games and stuff, they gotta live. They got families to feed. You know? The companies that control these games, they're the same way. It's not always about them being greedy. You know? Sometimes companies make mistakes. Sometimes they do it a lot. And it happens. And sometimes they don't learn from their mistakes and they continue doing it. And they know they do it because they can be a greedy company like Activision is. But the First Descendant dev team has done everything in their power to make people happy. I'm just going to let you know on that. They've tried everything. And when they do one thing that nobody liked, apparently, or at least 80%, 70% didn't like, people just start flipping. But this is your boy Kirito HD Gaming signing off. Hope you guys enjoy the video, like and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitch. I am streaming on Twitch now and uploading on YouTube. Here and there I might stream on YouTube, but right now I'm going back and forth. I've been doing this because I have had problems with my streams looking blurry and pixelated on YouTube compared to Twitch. So that's why. Here and there I try it out, but currently I'm just, you know, streaming on Twitch. So I would like if people can follow me on Twitch and then subscribe to me on YouTube. And I hope you guys enjoy. Everyone have a great day.